Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a performance that's so big, it feels less like a song and more like, well, a national event. We're talking about Elvis Presley's An American Trilogy.
So, how exactly does a song do that? How does a medley of three very different, very conflicted songs transform into a shared national ritual? I mean, it stages conflict, grief, and then this spectacular sense of unity, all in just a few short minutes. That's what we're going to unpack. To really get a grip on its power, we have to look at it in a different way. This isn't just a simple medley, right? Think of it more like a drama, a play that takes these huge, messy, conflicting parts of the American story and compresses them all into one powerful emotional ride.
You see, An American Trilogy isn't just playing some catchy melodies. No, it's playing with something much bigger, our national memory. It very deliberately brings up division before it even thinks about offering unity. It makes you feel sorrow before it delivers that huge, uplifting ending. It's not just celebrating history, it's more like a negotiation with history. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down the core components. The real power of this medley comes from this incredible collision of its three main ingredients. And trust me, each one of them is carrying some serious historical baggage.
And right here, this is where you see the central tension all laid out. The song deliberately smashes together histories that just do not belong together. You have Dixie, the anthem of the Confederacy. Then you have the battle hymn of the Republic, the anthem of the Union. And then, woven in, is All My Trials, a spiritual that comes directly from the experience of Black suffering. The performance basically creates this massive problem for itself, this huge contradiction. And then it says, okay, watch me solve this with music.
So the big question is, how on earth does it work? How does the performance take all these warring parts and somehow forge this single, unified, and totally monumental feeling? Well, the magic is all in the construction. The arrangement is really the engine driving the whole thing. First, it puts these clashing histories right next to each other to take you on a very specific emotional journey. Then, the pacing is so slow, so deliberate. It's almost ceremonial. It builds up all this anticipation, so when that final, soaring climax hits, it feels completely earned. And here's the really clever part. It abstracts the conflict. It doesn't ask you to sit and think about the Civil War. Nope, it just turns all that messy history into pure sound, pure feeling. And that lets everyone in the audience feel that sense of unity without getting bogged down into details. And of course, you can't talk about this without talking about the Elvis factor. He is the other half of this formula. Just listen to his voice. It moves from this quiet, intimate tenderness to this massive, public, powerful sound, which perfectly mirrors the song's journey. And think about who he was, a Southern boy who became a global icon. He was in a unique position to personally embody these national contradictions. But what really sells it all, it's his sheer, convincing sincerity. He sings it with such commitment that he makes the audience feel that this impossible musical union is not just possible, but absolutely necessary. But for all its incredible success, the song leaves behind a pretty difficult legacy, and it raises a lasting and kind of tricky question about what it actually accomplishes. And this is the central debate right here. What are we actually watching? Is the song a genuine act of reconciliation, a brave attempt to hold all these conflicting memories together in a single unified idea? Or is it something else? Does its beautiful, powerful spectacle actually risk erasing the very real, very painful histories it borrows from? Does it smooth over conflicts that can't be, and maybe even shouldn't be, so easily resolved? And this idea is more relevant today than ever. On streaming platforms and social media, the song often just shows up as short clips of that powerful climax, completely disconnected from the controversial history that gives it all its meaning. That feeling of grandeur travels in an instant, but the context, well, that gets left behind. So ultimately, An American Trilogy leaves us with its central, unresolved question. Can a song create a convincing feeling of unity when the historical divisions it's built on are still very much alive? Perhaps the true source of its enduring power is that it never gives us an easy answer, and that's why it continues to fascinate and even trouble us all these decades later.